more than 1 billion cars in this world of ours. From electric gliders to power sliders. And pretty much everything in between. I'm Tiffany Dell.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Whoa.
And with my good friend Paul Woodman.
Eat my dirt, Nidell.
Plus a few fellow car lovers. We're on a mission to bring you the fastest, loudest, most exclusive cars on the planet. Oh, and this lot too. From high peaks to millionaires' retreats, our quest has taken us far and wide. Stopping at nothing to bring you the ultimate automotive experiences. On the road today, we take some brand new hot hatches to see some very old ships.
The Matthew, kind of a boat called Matthew.
I go full speed into the future in an electric rocket ship.
3, 2,
Prepare for liftoff.
1, go!
Before getting my head around Ferrari's latest race-grade weaponry.
The mind boggles.
And Paul and Vicky watch a master at work.
Oh, very good.
But first, I'm in Italy with one of the best car makers you've probably never heard of.
Unless you're a die-hard motorsport fan, you might think a Dallara is the latest in the line of low-volume boutique sports car manufacturers. But there's a lot more to this Italian mark than that. You see, Giampaolo Dallara was an engineer who worked for the likes of Ferrari and Maserati and Lamborghini, was actually the engineer in charge of the iconic Miura project. But he wanted to make his own cars, and in 1972 set up his own company and actually made his very first little racing car, this cute little sports car. But he soon got distracted by manufacturers who wanted him to engineer and build their racing cars. And he created this Group 6 Lancia LC1 sports car, stunning looking machine. Went on to create Lancia's LC2 Group C car. Built Ferrari's 333 SP sports car and Audi's Le Mans winning R8. But Dallara's talents weren't just confined to sports cars, because he built this Scuderia Italia Grand Prix car that took 2 podium finishes in the late 80s, early 90s. He built cars that won the Indianapolis 500. He now builds all the Indy cars. He builds all the Formula 2 cars, all the Formula 3 cars. He builds the Haas Grand Prix cars. He's even involved in Formula E. So I know that little Stradale sports car outside is going to be good on a track. What I want to know first is, though, what's it like on the road? As it's taken over 45 years for Giampaolo's dream to come true, for a man of such designing talents, I don't think I'm going to be disappointed by his little Stradale, baby. You always think cars built by racing designers are too stiff for the road. But this road isn't the smoothest in the world, and it's soaking up the bumps just fine. I've got this amazing visibility looking out of a goldfish bowl with this polycarbonate windscreen. It's actually the first ever polycarbonate windscreen put onto a road car, which is all part of the theme of this car. Saves 6 kilograms of weight. And of course, because it's weight high up, that's very important to most racing car designers to keep the centre of gravity low. All of which means that, despite looking like something that might win Le Mans, it's surprisingly easy to drive in the real world. After all, Stradale is Italian for road or street. It even has a sensible engine, the same 2.3-litre 4-cylinder turbo you'll find in the Ford Focus RS, although here it's tuned to 400 horsepower. Now, of course, I'm sure there are those who will say, it's an Italian sports car, it should have a V10 engine in the back. But the whole point about this car is it's lightweight. It doesn't need a great lumpy V10. It might sound a bit better than the turbocharged EcoBoost, but this has got enough power for such a light car. You've got to realise that this Stradale is about half the weight of something like a Huracan V10. And you've got great torque from that tuned engine, the turbocharger giving the low rev torque and then the high rev power. Combine the two and this thing just takes off.
0 to 62 takes 3.25 seconds, which won't bother most modern supercars on a drag strip. But a car like the Stradale isn't about straight lines. It's more interested in squiggly ones. And for that, Dallara has used some aerodynamic sorcery.
The aero begins with this nose-up attitude of the car, which gathers more air into the front. Now, half of that air goes straight down the middle to the venturi at the back, but the other half comes out through these vents in the side of the doors, like a Le Mans prototype racing car. And what this air does is actually pull more air into the front, therefore sending more down to the back to create that downforce. There's no doors, which has two benefits. It improves the torsion and rigidity of the car, but also allows Dallara to feed the engine through these air ducts above the front wheels, channel through the door and straight into the back. Now, because that aerodynamic downforce is so critical to the ride height of the car, every car produced is set up on these Formula One style laser-controlled setup pads, which make sure the car is set at exactly the right angle. Carbon fibre, as you can see everywhere, even little brackets are made of carbon fibre. The seat is carbon fibre and is bolted to the monocoque to save more weight. It's actually the pedals that move up and down to adjust for the driver. They don't, however, use carbon brakes because by using lightweight suspension, smaller rims, smaller tyres, they can get all the braking they need with steel brakes. There's a 6-speed get-drag gearbox, which you can have in a manual one, like I've been driving, or if you want flappy paddles, you can have this automated system added to your car. That will add 8 kilograms of precious weight.
Of course, all this exotic engineering comes at a price. A basic Stradale will set you back around £130,000. Much more if you want all the options. And weighing just 855 kilograms, that means you're paying at least £150 for every kilo of car.
In this road trip, we've only been on the lower engine setting, so we've been running around with just 300 horsepower. So I now press a P plus, wait 3 seconds, and we've now got 400 horsepower. Oh, I said I didn't think I'd be disappointed in this car, and I'm certainly not. The steering just turns the car into a corner. There's plenty of torque from the turbo engine. Wonderful braking. I don't think I have to go on a track to enjoy this car. Love using the manual gearbox, squeezing the power. The lights jump up the rev counter so quickly. I think the most amazing thing is how it soaks up the bumps. There's none of these buttons to soften the suspension or change the damping. The whole car is tuned to not only be so fast on a track, but to handle country roads like this. Oh, Giampaolo, why have you waited 45 years to build a road car? You should have turned down some of those racing cars and built this years ago. It's a little joy.
Dallara isn't the first manufacturer to blend racetrack tech with a pair of number plates, but few have managed to create something so well behaved on the road. So that's it. I could just drive it home right now.
But you don't think I wasn't getting on a track as well, do you?
Just a quick blast, you understand? I like to be thorough in my journalism after all.
So I've now got the suspension fully lowered, the engine on full power, but now it's where that downforce should really work. It actually wants really faster corners to make the most out of it. I think I need to go to Spa or Mugello. This has only got little tiny tyres on it. Imagine if you put solid racing tyres on it. My neck will be hanging off the G-force. So yes, this little Dallara Stradale is good on the road, but it's also phenomenal on a racetrack.
So there you have it. My work here is done. Well, after just a few more laps.
Not long ago, the idea of a 300 horsepower hot hatch seemed a bit far-fetched. Today, 300 horsepower is merely the starting point. But is it also the sweet spot? To answer that, we've assembled two of the latest and greatest: the Honda Civic Type R and the Renault Megane RS 300 Trophy.
They've got long names, these cars, haven't they?
They're good looking though, aren't they? And these two are right at the top of their game. They've been battling it out between them for the Nürburgring lap
don't
record.
get me going on the Nürburgring lap time. What tyres are they wearing? Who's driving the car? What was the weather like on the day? It doesn't matter. What really matters, in fact, these are two urban guerrilla cars. They need to be taken around town. Let's see what they're like.
I've got no problem with that.
Around town.
Round town now, racetrack later.
All right, if you want, racetrack later. But
Come
first of all, you can put Honda round here. Nürburgring.
You know,
You
I
go
prefer
on and on about
real
the
world
Nürburgring.
tests.
If I'd known he wanted a sightseeing tour, I'd have booked him on a coach trip. But as it happens, I was only too happy to show Uncle Tiff around England's finest city.
So where are we going? We've started. Well, this is the dockside. This is your hometown, Bristol, is it? Where are we going?
Yes, a beautiful old maritime city.
Railway lines here. Are we on the right road? Are you sure this is okay
This
driving
is
here?
part of the original GWR, Great Western Railway, that went from Bristol to London. Very
I'm on
famous
railway tracks.
Very famous engineer, disembarking in
I don't think
Brunel.
I should be here.
That boat over there, the Matthew, they reckon that's the first boat to discover North America.
The Matthew? You don't have a boat
Well, it's
called
a
Matthew.
It's a replica. Why not? Matthew's a...
Doesn't sound right. Oh, gosh.
Oh, it's quite harsh in this, isn't it? Quite firm.
Oh, what are those big masts over there? That's impressive.
That is the SS Great Britain, a revolutionary ship. It was the first iron-hulled steamship ever to cross the Atlantic Ocean. A sailing ship would take it
all right, I've got the message. It's a famous ship.
probably a month.
Yeah, it's a famous ship. That'll do.
Honestly, I thought he loved a bit of history, but if it was some serious road testing he wanted, I had just the thing.
Oh, cobbles! Brilliant idea. Let's go comfort. Let's play with the settings.
Comfort? What's the matter with you, man? Let's get into race mode.
Got to check all three.
Separate the men from the boys. Comfort.
Yeah, we've got to see if it's better. Go on.
No, forget comfort.
Look, I'm going on comfort, all right?
Yeah, this is a really scientific test. Going from comfort to
Kept
sport.
quiet for a minute. We could hear the noise of the chassis reverberating through the low-profile racing tyres.
There's no chassis reverberation.
No difference at all. Go from comfort to sport, and now we'll go to race.
Oh, thanks. I've got a lot to show you, so you better put your foot down.
The next stop on our magical mystery tour was another marvel of West Country engineering, the world-famous Clifton Suspension Bridge.
I'm a bit scared. I don't like heights. I've not told you I don't like heights. We're a long way up, Paul.
It took 30 years to build this bridge.
When was it built?
I tell you, if you listen to me...
Yeah, I'm too scared. Right, I've asked the question. When was it built?
It was opened in 1865.
As much as I was enjoying Paul's encyclopedic knowledge of Bristol's landmarks, I wanted to get back on topic. The Civic had proven itself as a city cruiser, but could its Renault rival match it around town? So into the Megane. Popping exhaust. I do like that instant throttle response.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? That's much more impressive than the Civic. Interior-wise, Civic.
I know. Where's the carbon fibre? Where's the jazz? Where's the flash, Renault? Oh, there's that boat again. What, the SS Great Britain?
Oh, you do listen to me. Very good.
Just didn't listen to all the trivia that followed. Right, and where are those cobblestone things?
This is a wolf in sheep's clothing because it doesn't look like it's hardcore, does it?
The whole thing is reversed, because, like, I sort of feel like I want the Honda interior and the Renault exterior, but I don't know which handling I want. Like, for a city car, I probably want the
Honda.
Well, you say that, but the turning circle on that Honda is not
I
good
noticed
at all.
that. Yeah, when you try and turn around, this has got a much better turning circle. Back to the bridge. I like this.
Back
bridge.
to another pound is costing me a lot of money,
All
this.
right, just stop complaining. This is what art.
I don't mind paying a pound for IKB, this beautiful bridge.
Is that a trendy way of talking about Mr. Brunel? You call him IKB. He's not some rapper, you know. He's a famous engineer.
Anyway, back to the cars. The Type R might have been the smoother city slicker, but what happens when you leave town? To see what our hot hatches were really made of, we headed to one of the fastest circuits in the country. Castle Combe.
Right, it's about time for me to get out and set some lap times. I know I don't care about Nürburgring lap times, but I think we should still do lap times. I need to do them.
You didn't get the memo, did you?
What?
Well, I've arranged for a very famous racing driver to do our fast laps for us.
What? It's not me.
You'll thank me for this. The name Chadwick mean anything to you?
Oh, well, yeah, Jamie Chadwick. I mean, she was a star of that women's series over the summer, so I'd like to meet her and let's see what she can do.
Sadly, we couldn't afford Jamie, champion of the W Series, but we got the next best thing. Her brother, GT3 driver Ollie, who wasted no time in getting down to business.
Here we go, Castle Combe, the keys to be very smooth. Fast flowing circuit. Renault's got really strong pull out the corners, already up to 123, 127.
Yeah, youngsters these days, always showing off about their speed.
Up to Avon rise, dab of the brakes, down 1, down 2, turn in, patient on the power.
A slightly scruffy line, if you ask me, but carry on, Ollie.
Hard braking zone for the first chicane coming up. Front starting to lock up a bit there, ABS kicking in hard. A little bit of short shift for the kink, 104. Hold it in 4th gear.
All right, so I once stuffed a Formula Ford into the barriers there, but at least I was putting some effort in.
Hard braking for tower, balance, balance. The Renault really does fill you with confidence. There's nothing untoward about it. You've got a great feedback through the steering. There is a little bit more body roll than you'd like. Brakes, after a while, do get a bit of sponginess to them, but this is a car you can go to the shops with and then bring here on a day like today and have some fun with your mates.
The time to beat, 1 minute 19.36 seconds. Let's see if you can get the more powerful Type R around any quicker.
Straight away, it feels more racy, the Honda. The brake pedal feels firmer, the steering feels more positive, the engine feels stronger. Kind of everything you really want on a track. And it has the lovely little auto blip, which I'm sure some of the purists won't like, but it makes you feel like you're a racing driver even if you're not.
Yes, some of us can do this stuff without the help from a computer, you know, but on you go, Ollie.
This is the more track-focused car. The suspension's a lot stiffer, there's a lot less roll. Flick it one way, flick it the other. Got to be patient with the power. Once you can get the lock off, nail it to the floor.
And there we have it, half a second quicker than the Megane. But I reckon there's more to come from that Honda. So where does this leave us? The Honda was probably the most comfortable car around town and quickest around the track. But does it top our hot hatch hot list? They're both great hot hatches, hot hatches.
So 30-odd thousand pound question, which one are you taking home?
I'm still, because I like the style, I'm still going the Renault. Although that interior, why can't they just sharpen up the interior
This interior
a bit?
is very nice, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice.
I want to sit in the Honda, but I want to be looked at in a Renault.
Well, I think we're both in the same camp, actually, because we're a little bit older, dare we say, but for sure the Renault for me as well. But this brings a smile to a lot of younger people's faces, but perhaps we're going to have to fight over that on the way home.
Should we have a cup of tea?
I
mean, I'm worn
cup
out.
of tea. Youngsters have a can of
been a long
energy
day.
drink.
Great
That's the
cars.
difference. Yeah, they were good fun. And Bristol was nice, wasn't it?
Behold this magnificent pair of super saloons. From Mercedes, the AMG GT 4-door coupe.
And from Tesla, the Model S. One runs on batteries, the other has a V8. Both have about 600 horsepower, four-wheel drive, and six-figure price tags. But which is best? To answer that, let's get straight down to business.
Tiff, we're going to kick off with a drag race, and the question is, which one are you going to choose first?
Oh, let me think. The Tesla.
You're so predictable.
No problem. Though I'm not on the same line as you. Move it forward.
No, Tiff, you don't need to do that. Come and look at this. I can summon the car forward from my app. Oh, look at that.
Stop. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very kind.
Enjoy.
The Model S might look like a relatively humble saloon, but remember, a few years ago, Tesla claimed this car, with its ludicrous mode, was the fastest accelerating mainstream production car in the entire world. There is, however, just one small matter to clear up before putting that to the test.
OK, now, Paul, I have to say I think I'm fairly confident of this drag race. However, I know that it comes at a cost to my range. That is the great thing about electric power. My range, the average range of this car, is 253 miles range left. However, I found this brilliant little graph thing which shows the recent range energy, and the way I've driven the car for the last 15 miles to get here, I'd only get 175 miles. What's your range on your full tank of fuel?
Well, since I've been sat here, it's changed to 291 miles to go. So I'll reset my trip, and then we'll see what it's like afterwards. Should we do that? You reset yours as well. OK, so here we go. 3, 2...
Prepare for liftoff.
1... Go! Oh, that's fast. It's an absolute rocket ship. Oh, my goodness.
Has he given up?
I'm catching him up now. I'm catching him up.
Doing 120, 127. Well, did you give up or what? I mean, you're just 100 yards behind in the flash. Were you not trying at all?
I mean, I was going fast. The traction control was off. Everything was great. Got lots of grip, lots of traction. Couldn't get anywhere near you.
Officially, the Model S in ludicrous mode does 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 2.3 seconds. Now that's Formula One car territory in a family-friendly saloon. The question is, how did that fast blast affect our ranges?
OK, then one run, you had 291 range. What range have you got left?
Well, after 3 miles, I've got 280, so I dropped 11 miles. And yourself?
Oh, I've gone from 175 down to 119. I've lost 56 miles of range doing that blast.
OK, let's swap over. I want to go in that because that's a winning machine.
Yeah, I'm going to drive that Merc better. You were useless. You didn't know what you were doing. Gosh, he's such a short ass.
If ever there was a danger of this losing, it is definitely not going to lose now, because if I put it into, from ludicrous plus mode, maximum battery power, we're going to be unbeatable. Unbeatable.
Jumping from that Tesla into this Mercedes, it's like going from minimalistic to maximalistic, if that's a word.
Now, I'm not one for excuses, but this version, the 63, comes with 585 horsepower, which is 20 or so less than the Model S. However, Mercedes will sell you a 63S with more power than the Tesla, although I'm not sure that would stand much of a chance either.
OK, let's do this then, Tiff. On my start, 3, 2, 1, go! I'm trying to cheat then. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, my head hurts. This is so fun.
He's creeping away. I've got him with a jump start. I'm holding him now. I tell you what, 108, 110.
Oh, he's catching me up as well. He's catching me up.
I'm coming. 140. I'm still on it. 150. And where are you? You are now behind me. I don't know what you were doing in that first run. I told you it was all the driver. It's the driver that counts.
You cheeky git.
So, Paul, what's your projected range down to now?
62 miles left. Do you know, bizarrely, I tried to cheat a little bit, improvise a little bit. I put it in ludicrous plus mode, And you actually caught me up on that one. That was quite bizarre.
Yeah, trust you to try and change things to beat the driver. You never beat the driver. I've still got, 257 miles. I've only dropped about 40-odd miles with this, whereas you've dropped about 100 miles.
Of course, if you stop doing drag races and drive normally, the Tesla's range increases again, so it actually had over 200 miles in reserve. Next up, overtaking. Starting side by side, we'd see which of our four doors pulls away the quickest.
OK then, Paul, we're both at 50 miles an hour. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Eat my dirt, Tiff Liddell.
Wow, the Tesla. Funny enough, what happened with the Mercedes, it went for kick down when I floored the throttle. And in that moment when I was kicking down, you were just gone.
All right, so when it comes to straight line speed, the Tesla is king. And Tesla's engineers are constantly finding ways to unlock even more performance from the batteries. They can even upgrade your car remotely over the internet. This is sci-fi stuff. But it's not the only one loaded with tech.
I probably needed about a week before I got in the car to learn everything. But straight away I found these little buttons, little knobs on the way. I can scroll through settings quite simply. Changes from manual to automatic, a lot of choice, suspension changes. And a sort of layout here that reflects the V8 engine, the way the Mercedes have created this centre section.
In the Tesla, meanwhile, my colleague was getting all philosophical.
Even though these cars are so similar on paper with their horsepower, their price, and so on and so forth, when you think about it, they're complete polar opposites because Mercedes is probably the oldest recognised car manufacturer in the world, and Tesla is probably the newest in terms of production cars, at least. And for one moment, I'm not suggesting that Mercedes aren't full of innovation, because indeed they are, but this car just seems so futuristic, so modern, and so ahead of its time.
Of course, this Mercedes is a bit more money than the Tesla. Tesla dropped their prices actually to take the base entry model down below 100 grand, but this is a £120,000 car, and with a few luxurious extras here and there, it's a £130,000 car.
The straight line speed is just absolutely bonkers. It can go around corners fairly well as well, but the problem is because it's so fast, you put it in a bracket that perhaps it's not in. I mean, after all, it's just a luxury GT, and it happens to be one of the fastest cars in the world. You just get catapulted away as soon as you put your foot down.
Now, obviously, you can't test a Tesla without trying its ultimate party trick, and for that, we headed to the motorway.
Now this Tesla is fairly clever to kind of say the least, because the car, although I have my hands on the wheel, is driving itself, fully automated. It's a very bizarre sensation, but you've got a multitude of cameras all around the car, analysing the road and looking at every single conceivable angle. Would you trust a fully automated car?
Tesla might brand its self-driving stuff as autopilot, but the Merc has some serious autonomy as well. It will also stay in its lane, slow down when approaching trucks and slower cars, and even creep along in traffic jams, all on its own. But enough of this, it was time to fill up with some electrons and have one final go in each car.
Off the motorway and onto the quiet country lane. And of course it's quiet because I've got electric engines. Mind you, this is no quieter than the Mercedes was, apart from the rasping V8 noise.
There's no doubt that Tesla is such a class act on the motorway. But give me this Mercedes on these country roads any day of the week. Given the cars are both pretty much the same size and not too dissimilar in weight, this just feels a lot more at home on these roads. And the fact that you've got some paddle shifters and various different modes as well to go into definitely help the driving sensation.
Quite how we're going to choose between these two amazing super saloons, I'm not quite sure. Both four-door luxury mobiles, but with a very different approach to life. And I think that, in the end, is going to be the decider. Well, That was quite a day, wasn't it? I'm worn out from drag racing to autonomous cruising down the motorways, and two very impressive machines, but very different.
Complete opposites, but they're very similar as well. It's a weird one, this. But
We also about Tesla being heavy, but in fact, you know, the Mercedes isn't much short of it. They're both well over 2 tons.
But didn't you find this felt a lot lighter, a lot more engaging than the
Air
Tesla?
suspension just rode the bumps better than Tesla's. And the steering feel perhaps nicer than the Mercedes, a bit more.
I don't think just the steering, just the whole feel of the car, the brakes, everything just felt that little bit tighter, a little bit more engaging with the Mercedes. So come on then, Tiff, which one are you going to take home, Mercedes or Tesla?
Well, for my lifestyle and the fact that I'm still, I've got to have engine, I've got to have a petrol power. But it's very impressive.
It's
And
super
It
impressive.
is the future, but it's not. The future's not here quite yet
For you, exactly for you. I don't mind, I'm happy to take this. I would have taken that, but I'm very happy to take this. Oh, go away, go away. Stop polluting me with your fumes.
The Dino 246 was built between 1969 and 1974, and it was the first Ferrari I ever drove. Well, of course, it's not actually a Ferrari, because Enzo Ferrari kept that name for the front-engine V12s he so adored. So, the first mid-engine cars were given his son's name, Dino. It's an adorable little car, with 195 horsepower coming from its transversely mounted 2.4-litre V6 engine, hence its model number. Light and nimble, it's a joy to drive, jumping around the 5-speed box with its iconic gated gear shift. And 45 years later, I'd still love to own one. But good examples are now changing hands for over £300,000. Which is about the same as you'd have to pay for the fastest and most track-owned of the mid-engine cars built so far, Halo cars not included, the 488 Pista.
It's the latest in a long line of mid-engined V8 Ferraris that followed the Dino, all of which wore a proper Ferrari badge. And for the next 30 years or so, became my absolute favourite Ferraris. From the 308 through to the 360, to the 430 and then the 458.
All high-revving, naturally aspirated V8s, which gradually saw the power rise from 255 horsepower to 605. There would be some track-owned models back then as well, the 360 Stradale, the 430 Scuderia, and the 458 Speciale. But then along came the era of the turbocharger. The 488 GTB was launched with 670 horsepower. But even that wasn't enough for some, because with this Pista version, they've given it 720, which will launch it to 62 in just 2.85 seconds and push it on to a top speed of 211 miles an hour.
If you were lucky enough to get on the waiting list and then get to buy one, you'd have handed over £250,000. And that's before you even look at the optional extras.
In fact, the car I'm sitting in would only give you £4,000 change out of £300,000. There's all sorts of carbon options you can have to make your car look a bit racier and just that little tiny bit lighter. Inside this cockpit alone, I've got £17,000 worth of carbon fibre options, from floor pans to door panels to these fancy air vents. Outside, I can look into a door mirror, the pair of which would cost you another £3,500. And if you want that fancy stripe down the bonnet, well, that's another £8,500. The mind boggles.
But forget the go faster stripe. Wait until you see what they've really done to make the Pista quicker and more hardcore than a regular 488 GTB.
The Pista is some 90 kilograms lighter than the GTB. Even the engine itself, whilst it's been tuned up to add the extra horsepower, has saved 18 kilograms. It's got titanium conrods and an Inconel exhaust manifold and a lightened flywheel. Every little kilogram counting when you want to perform on a track. The suspension is 10% stiffer. They've added a new lateral dynamic control system to help the car through corners by using individual wheel braking. They've actually called it the FDE, the Ferrari Dynamic Enhancer. And it's not just the suspension that's been enhanced, because they've worked on the airflow over, through and under this body to increase the downforce for track use.
Ferrari drafted in some help from its Formula One people, who breathed a little aerodynamic magic into things.
They laid back the front radiators to allow room for an S-duct and the front bodywork to give more downforce at the front. Instead of the engine being fed by the big ducts on each side, they now feed the turbocharger to cool that air even more, whereas the engine is fed by ducts each side of the rear wing. There's even a DRS, a drag reduction system, that operates automatically, controlling the airflow underneath the car, optimising the balance between downforce and drag, depending on what the car's doing at the time. It's incredible. I was a bit worried that this car might be too stiff, too uncomfortable to drive it to the track, but it's not. It's a very relaxing drive, cruising along in 6th gear. You can always feel that taut, track-honed body underneath you, wanting to take you to a track, wanting you to wring its neck and enjoy its full potential. But at the same time, whilst dreaming along this road, I keep on thinking of that little 246 Dino sitting in that showroom. My heart still beats a little bit swifter. This is an absolutely stunning car. But the problem for me is that the more cars get smothered in incredible technology, the more I start to want to be more involved in the driving of the machines. And if someone did offer me over £300,000 to buy a Ferrari, I'd be struggling to decide which one of these two to pick.
For the last 15 years or so, if you fancied a proper sports coupe for around 50 grand, you go to a Porsche dealership, buy a Cayman and drive off into the sunset. Nowadays though, well, you should probably have a look at one of these. The BMW M2 Competition, £50,000 of prime Bavarian beef. Or, for something a little more low-calorie, there's this, the Alpine A110, a resurrection of a 1970s superstar. Can either knock the Cayman off the top spot? To find out, we got together for a little series of challenges. In the BMW, it's tyre-smoking Tiff Needell. In the Alpine, it's our favourite Italian racer, the extremely talented Vicky Piria. And in the Porsche, it's yours truly, keeping a watchful eye on proceedings.
This Cayman has really ruled the roost since it came out in 2006 and has seen off pretty much all of its competition. Beautifully balanced car. What a fantastic sound as well from this 4-cylinder engine.
Ah yes, the engine. For this generation of Cayman, Porsche famously swapped 6 cylinders for 4. That upset a lot of purists who felt it deserved more. Porsche listened and put a 4-litre 6-cylinder back in the very latest Cayman GTS. The Cayman S, however, still makes do with a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder, which is pretty much what we have here, albeit with a few more horsepower. Anyway, as I was saying,
This 2.5-litre 4-cylinder engine with 366 horsepower, so it's smack bang in the middle of the Alpine and the BMW M2, but this really has got to be the car to beat today. Very impressive little car.
but while Porsche faff around with its engines, the M2 keeps it simple with one easy-to-remember 3-litre turbocharged straight 6.
the BMW M2 competition, which really we might as well just call the M2 because you can't get a normal M2 now, you can only get the competition. Actually, that's not strictly true because now there's a hardcore M2 CS as well with more power. But anyway, back to the competition version, which after the original car had some rather wild handling characteristics, it's actually a better driver's car. The only trouble is what we do have is quite a lot of weight. This M2 competition weighs, what, 1,600 plus a few kilos, which is half a ton heavier than that little Alpine. But it's just a joy to drive, and of course it's very easy in a BMW to just hold that little button down, get that DSC deactivated, and enjoy all that torque that allows you to punch the throttle and give it a little flick and In terms of fun, I think it's going to be hard to beat this M2. But enough about the Germans already. I wonder how Vicky's getting on in her little French number.
So I'm in the Alpine A110. This might be quite different compared to the other two German machines, but I am quite sure that different here means special. It weighs only 1,100 kilos, which for 252 horsepower is not that bad.
Of course, Alpine is famous for its lightweight creations. In 1973, the original A110 won the World Rally Championship thanks to its slimline design. Now owned by Renault, this is the first brand new Alpine for decades, a modern tribute to that original rally star.
Obviously, rally cars have to be quite soft because they have to go really well on the curbs and copy well the different tarmacs and bumps that you find on the road. But at the same time, this car is very light, it's really compact, and it is very agile.
With the introductions complete, it was time to get down to the challenges. Starting, of course, with some drifting. Which car could do the longest slide? Selflessly, I volunteered to find out. I'll now just give Vicky and Paul a little drift demo. Oh, don't overdo it, Tiff. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Oh, he's going proper sideways.
Whoa!
Oh, very good. Don't tell him he's good, but that was good. OK, not bad, Tiff. That's all right.
I'll give you not bad, Tiff. Although, with its engine in the middle rather than up front, the Cayman has never been the simplest thing to slide around. Let's see how this one does.
Right, here we go. Is he going to get it sideways? He's trying very hard.
But this isn't as an easier car to play with. It's almost got more grip than I want. So I've got to try harder to unstick it.
What
Candy
is that?
flick.
That's better, Tiff. Oh, now we're on it.
Very good.
But it doesn't want to stay sideways for long. Next up, it was the 1.8-litre turbocharged Alpine, which, like the Cayman, puts its engine behind the driver in the middle of the car.
Come on then, Tiff.
One for Paul and Vicky, give it the big flick. Sorry, Paul.
You can tell it's a bit soft when it's rolling. You see it's soft transferring
It's
its
much softer than the
weight.
other two, and it looks so much smaller than the other two as well.
Victory then must go to the BMW. Being front-engined and with a slightly longer wheelbase, it's easily the most driftable car here. The little A110, like the Cayman, is just a bit too snappy for long, luxurious skids. Although I do look pretty good in slow-mo.
We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear any excuses. Come on.
Come on.
With the drifting done, it was time for our next challenge, the hot lap. Which of our cars would post the fastest time? To find out, it was over to Vicky, while Paul and I watched from the best seats in the house. So which do you reckon is going to be quickest, these three, then?
Do you know what? I think it's actually going to be the Cayman, even though it's right in the middle for everything.
But they're so different in character to drive. And the BMW's got the power and the torque, but it's heavy. Alpine's so light, and the Porsche, as you say, it's in the middle.
In the middle. It'd be interesting. I think the Alpine will be a surprising little candidate as well, but we'll see. How's this BMW getting on? Ready?
Start the clock.
On the curb, keep it tight, keep it tight. On the power. But when it oversteers, it's so fast oversteering, you just countersteering a little bit and it just settles straight away. It's just so precise.
So it's a 47.25 for the BMW.
There's the benchmark for the day.
Cool thing about this car is that it's so precise and yet so smooth when you're driving it.
You feel like you're in a proper racing car. It is a lot of fun.
It looks like a little racing car.
See, although it's very light, which helps on braking and cornering, it's still got less power per tonne, the 225 bhp per tonne, whereas the BMW had more. 47.61 for the Alpine.
It's a little bit slower.
Nearly half a second. Right, the Porsche is on track. Your prediction, sir, for the Porsche?
Oh, I would like to see something starting in 46.
Second gear, up we go. Third gear. This third gear is so long, so long, so long. Come on. Okay, try the braking. Oh, I'm literally braking so early with these carbon ceramic brakes.
Come on.
45.94 seconds.
Well, that's impressive. Wow, we wanted sub 47, we got sub 46.
That's a second and a quarter faster than
She
the
likes
BMW
that
ran a
Porsche.
short track.
Very
The
good.
Porsche's fasted around the lap.
But that doesn't mean everything, does it?
So, the BMW did the biggest skids, the Porsche was the quickest around the track, and the Alpine, well, it might be small, but it'll put a mighty smile on your face. As for us, well, there was just one test left, and that was to choose which one to take home.
Guys, we got one car, one choice, and one choice only. What's it going to be? Ladies
first.
I'll take this one.
Why?
It just made me smile so much. It's racy, it's there, it's stiff in the right point. It's you know.
I thought the Alpine made me smile more. It's a little racing car.
You weren't smiling when you were drifting because you couldn't even drift the car.
It was just fact. It was fact. Drifting isn't the only element of this. Accommodation's a problem, though.
Oh, I wouldn't have said that.
And I think, had we had the Cayman S, I might have gone for the Porsche, because I think the S is a bit softer. I think that's a bit hardcore for the road.
So you go for the Alpine?
So...
Because that's old age.
I've got more accommodation, spare seats, big boot. I'm more comfortable. I'm going to take the M2.
I grant you that, and I think for practicality, there's no question that. A lot of fun. I enjoyed driving that, but my goodness, this was. You're right. Smile factor number one. Porsche for me as well.
Sadly, she's got it. Get in the Alpine.
Oh,
sorry, Alpine.
Alpine, not Alpine, and that's a Porsche.
Push.
Porsche. Not Porsche.
See you at the bar.